Hi, and welcome back. I kind of wanted this channel to be about talking about different ideas and approaches to solving problems and shit. So I figured I'd step away from current events just a little bit and talk about an idea that this one is one that I had a good long while ago. You know, Worldwide, we're facing a crisis that's not really talked about as much as it should be. I mean, kind of recently it's been talked about a little bit more, but it's still not being addressed nearly as much as it should, and that is a worldwide shortage of fresh drinkable water. Now, most of the planet's surface is covered in water, but only about 3% of that water is fresh water, and only about 1% of that is in actual liquid form. Everything else is either frozen in the ice sheets and all that good stuff. And so there's a finite amount of fresh drinkable water that we have to drink. And here in the US it's not as much of a problem as it is in other countries. I mean, I've seen videos of people literally having fistfights in the street, to try to fill up dirty buckets from a black market water truck, just to get water. And this was in India, which is supposedly like the fastest developing nation, yet they have black market water trucks. I mean, that's saying something about the condition of the world when you've got people in one of the fastest developing nations having fistfights over water. Now, I don't really want to get into the whole craziness of India's plan on this, because apparently their solution is water ATMs, which is just as bad as an idea as that sounds like. But I was thinking of an interesting solution. This was years ago. I was thinking about this, and I'd actually started a nonprofit organization, and I was actually trying to get, at least like like a prototype, project off the ground to like kind of show its ability to work and its effectiveness, and also just to prove that it would work. But basically, the plan goes something like this. You look at the Panama Canal. The Panama Canal's a little over 50 miles long. It's 110 feet wide, and it allows for two-way cargo transportation. I think it's two-way cargo transportation. I think when I was looking it up, I think something about like, two-way cargo traffic has to have at least 110 feet width or something like that. But anyway, I don't know. But anyway, the Panama Canal is great for cargo transportation, and ocean cargo transportation is great for the economy. I mean, look where all the largest cities in the world are, basically, and they're all typically in coastal port areas. With port access comes economic advantage. So imagine, if you will, a project like the Panama Canal, but one that makes an inland seawater channel that's about 400 miles long. It would be roughly 8 times longer than the Panama Canal, and go inland. But see, there's also the added benefit. Not only do you get the cargo transportation inland, but then you also have a source of seawater that's flowing into areas that were previously deserts. Like, you run from a few hundred miles from the Gulf of Mexico inland, and you're in a nice sunny desert region. And what can you do with ocean water and sunlight? You can desalinate. You can take you can evaporate the water out of the seawater and, have nice reserves of fresh water. Now, I've seen rigs online back when I was researching this back in the day where, you could have like one little thing that was about maybe 3 meters across that was producing, like 8 or 9 liters of fresh, clean, desalinated water every day using nothing but sunlight. And that's, you don't think 8 or 9 liters per day is very good until you get to how many of those can you fit in an acre of land. And then, so how much water per day can you produce per acre of land just by using solar power to desalinate water? And so if you run a seawater channel to a desert area, you set up, several acres of solar stills that desalinate the water, and next thing you know, you've got a previously uninhabited desert area that now has fresh, clean water and commercial cargo transportation. And then every town on the way in between whatever ocean you run it from to whatever desert region you run it to, every town on the way gets the economic boom of becoming a port town. And then you can divert water here and there for like kelp farms, fish farms, which would help with food shortages. You'd be producing fresh water instead of just redirecting existing rivers and streams, So, I mean, all in all, this would be in so many ways beneficial and help alleviate so many different problems. And then you can also imagine how effective that would be in other countries too. Like there's parts of Africa that are total desert uninhabited areas that are also not that much above sea level. And, you run a seawater channel to them. You've got commercial cargo transportation. You've got fresh water. You can start building in the area. And then, of course, deserts have plenty of sunlight, so you can set up solar powered, you can create entire green communities, entire green towns and cities, and all it takes is the initial investment of the project. Now, I mean, of course, it would be expensive as hell, but in today's money, it'd be about $8 billion to build the Panama Canal. So you're looking at something about 8 times longer, so $64 billion. And that's a hefty price tag. But then again, if you think about some of the other large-scale projects that we've had going on, and even some of the money we throw at other ridiculous things, that $64 billion doesn't really sound like nearly as much. I mean, Trump wants $25 billion to build a fucking wall that can't stop ladders or hacksaws or tunnels or planes or boats, and, I mean, so why would people be perfectly willing to do that, which really solves nothing, when you could spend, that much money and be, a third of the way done with this huge, massive project? And, of course it would be a huge undertaking, but the benefits and then the extra jobs created, the population alleviation from larger cities, yeah, but anyway, I guess that's all for now. I just wanted to talk about that idea really quick, and I will probably post another one of these later on. I probably need to do one that's like more well thought out, on some current events that I've been thinking about. But anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, all that good shit, and I'll see you next time.